Sell-side e-commerce doesn't only involve selling products such as books and DVDs online. Right? Now, we understood what the concept of sell-side e-commerce was. Right? But it does not mean just selling physical products like a book or a DVD. Right? It also involves using internet technologies to market services using a range of techniques. Right? So not only when you sell products, but also when you use internet technologies to market a service, that also we consider as a what? Sell-side e-commerce, right? We have a question. We have a question relating to intranets and extranets, right? So this person asks whether LMS is a intranet or an extranet arrangement. Right? So what do you think? Is LMS an intranet or extranet arrangement? What do other colleagues think of your friend's question? Can you comment on the chat? What do you think? Is it extranet or intranet? As you feel? Yes, so some think it's similar to extranet, some think it's intranet. Any other right, so we have answers to both parties. We are customers, so it gives access to us. Okay, we can get needed information. Okay, any other suggestions? Okay, some people think it's an extranet. So those who think that it's an extranet, why do you say that it's an extranet? Based on what would you say that our LMS is an extranet? Yes? Now, extranet කියලා කියපු කට්ටිය කියන්න බලන්න ඇයි LMS එක extranet එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ කියලා. Okay, some people say intranet once again. No idea. You just say because you feel. Right. Now, what was the definition we gave for an intranet? If an internal network is used to provide communication, collaboration, information exchange, to facilitate those things within an organization, we call it an intranet. No? So what do you think LMS is then? Now, who can access the LMS? Students can access, the lecturers can access, right? The internal administrators can access. All students who are taking the courses offered by University of Sri Jayawardhanapura can access it, right? So, what do you think? Yeah, now can you reply? What do you think of it? Yes. So now people say it's an intranet arrangement. Yes, right? Because effectively, in general sense, if you think, all the access given to LMS is limited to internal parties who are associated with the university, right? Whether it's the lecturers, whether it's the students, right? So therefore, we can consider that it is an intranet arrangement within our organization, within the organization of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, right? Okay, so moving on to different types of sell-side e-commerce, right? I mentioned earlier also, the sell-side e-commerce doesn't only involve physical product selling, but also it involves promoting a particular service using a range of techniques, right? So not every product is suitable for sale online. So the way in which a website is used to market products will vary. Right? That means now sometimes all the products are not suitable for sale online. Right? Now, first of all, tell me what sort of services can you market using sales side e-commerce? Yes. Can you give me a few examples for services that are being marketed using sales side e-commerce? There are so many in when it comes to the present context. Yeah. So, any examples you can give? No one. Yes. What kind of services can you market using sales side e-commerce? There are so many things that you can think of. Yes. So there's a one answer saying marketing service that are done through the internet. Okay, so that means you are doing the marketing aspect on behalf of someone else, right? Yeah. So and also, so there can be many other examples, right? So someone says content creators. Yes, content creators. Like once again, you are referring to marketing services, I think. So yes, marketing services on behalf of another organizations, and also there are content creators, maybe videos, right? Maybe blogs, right? Things like that. And also, if you take services such as what else? Medical services. Now, what do you mean by medical services? There, one person says marketing products, marketing services through online. Medical services has been given as an example. So, can you elaborate on what do you mean by there? Yes, so someone says banking services, consultation services. Yes, right. So you can see all these are examples for how you can use online methods to market a service, right? So not only a product, right? So now I think the other person who mentioned there as medical services, did you refer to a setting like where you can channel a doctor online, or where you can obtain the medical advice online, or what sort of thing did you mean there? You can think of it and you can send a message, right? Right. So all the other examples which you mentioned, yes, they are correct. For sales side e-commerce, you can involve those services, all of those services, right? Okay. So moving on. Not every product is suitable for sale online, right? So the way in which website is used to market products will vary, right? That means now, what kind of products do you think are not suitable for sale online? Right now, for example, if we think of products which are highly technologically sophisticated, right? Sometimes you may have to look at the look and feel of that particular product, right? Maybe an automobile, right? Maybe sometimes something like a mobile phone, right? Just there is a possibility for you to actually purchase online in the current context when it comes to technological equipments like that, but still you will prefer if you can personally get more details. You need the look and feel of that particular product, right? So therefore all the products are always not suitable for sale online. It depends on the nature of the product, right? So the type of website you use to market these different types of product will vary because of this nature of products, right? You cannot always have a selling website, selling oriented website to market any type of product that you have, right? Or to sell any type of product you have. So therefore, it is useful to consider 5 main types of online presence for sell-side e-commerce. So we talk about 5 main categories for sell-side e-commerce. There are 4, right? Which each has a different objectives, of which each has a different objective and are appropriate for different markets. So each of these different sell-side e-commerce types, they are focusing on different types of objectives and they are appropriate for different types of market, different types of products, right? These are not clear-cut categories of websites, since any company may combine these types, but with a change in emphasis according to the market they serve. So there are no clear-cut boundaries to these different website types, right? In the current context, we see sometimes that these types of different sell-side websites are sometimes combined together, right? The features of 2 types of sell-side e-commerce sites are sometimes combined together and offered. So that therefore, sometimes you cannot clearly identify that these are belonging to one category only, right? But still, with the change in the market that the business serve, with the type of customers, with the type of market they serve, the business can decide which type of sell-side e-commerce site is more suitable to our business, right? That can be decided by the organization based on the nature of the product that they are selling, or based on the nature of the service that they are selling, or based on the nature of the market, right? The discretion is with the organization. Now, if we move on to the next slide, as you review websites, note how organizations have different parts of the site focusing on these functions. Now, we are going to look at 5 different types of these kind of sell-side e-commerce sites, right? And you will be able to distinguish the differences between each of these types of sites, right? So first of all, we are going to look at transactional e-commerce site. I think we won't be able to complete all these types of sell-side e-commerce sites today. So at this point, I think we'll just look at the types of e-commerce sites that we are going to talk about next week. So first, we will be talking about transactional e-commerce site, and then service-oriented relationship building website, then brand building sites, and also we are going to talk about portals, publishers, and media sites. And also we are going to talk about social media sites, right? So all these things we are going to talk about when it comes to the different types of sell-side e-commerce. But I think it's better that we continue that part in the next week, right? So, so far, do you have any questions on what we have discussed today? Any questions or concerns that you have? You can ask at this point, right? So just a quick recap, we talked about the difference between digital business and e-commerce today, right? We defined e-commerce, right? And then we understood how the e-commerce sales have been increasing annually in different countries. And we talked about the concept of social commerce. We understood that it is a part of e-commerce as well. And then we talked about digital business. We provided the definition for digital business. And then we referred to this diagram. So before we wind up, can you give me quickly examples of what kind of intermediaries here we have referred? Now on the buy side e-commerce, we learned there are intermediaries, there are suppliers, and there are suppliers. Right? Now here intermediaries might be what kind of parties? Yes? What sort of upstream intermediaries can you have? So yes, they can be contract suppliers, right? Now sometimes there can be suppliers who source different parts, different raw materials from different suppliers, right? And they combine them together, right? And certain contract intermediary party purchases these and supplies them to the company. So there can be contract suppliers who are acting as intermediaries. Can you remember when we talked about Nike and we talked about Li Fang in MIS? We related this, how Nike has this kind of setting and how the Li Fang, the garment chain, right? How they enable this kind of intermediary service between different organizations, and they supplies the product to the organizations that they are connected with, right? So you can revisit and revise your memory on those things as well, right? So if we come to the sell side e-commerce once again, who can be the intermediaries? Once again, there can be intermediary parties who deliver these products to our wholesalers, right? Then from wholesalers to retailers and so on. That is what here referred to as customers, right? I hope you are clear on that. There might be wholesalers, and the retail sellers might be buying from the wholesalers, and then the customers might be buying from the retail sellers. So likewise, the chain goes on, right? So there might be intermediaries who facilitate these delivery services, right? And maybe logistics services, right? Likewise. So yeah, and then we moved on to talk about intranets, extranets, right? And a new concept called enterprise social media software, right? And then we moved on to talk about different types of sell-side e-commerce, and we understood that always organization cannot decide, cannot select one type of e-commerce site to sell their products online, because depending on the nature of the markets and the products that they serve, the type of e-commerce site that they have to use have to be different, right? So we are going to talk about that different types of sell-side e-commerce on the next day, right? So any questions so far? Any questions or any concerns that you have regarding the lecture? Any comments or that you have to, any feedback that you have to give? No. Right. So if there are no comments or no questions, we'll wind up the class for today. But on the next day, please remember, you have to select the correct link, right? Because we will be arranging a different link for each class, for each lecture, and we will be renaming it as lecture 1, 2, 3 likewise. So please make sure that you select the correct lecture, because today I think some students had a difficulty in joining with the lecture. So we will be clearly indicating the date of the lecture as well on the LMS link, right? So please make sure that you access the correct link, and please make sure that you arrive here on time, right? Today we have to wait until about 15 minutes to start the lecture. It was around 10:15 when we started, because there were only around 15 students. So please make sure that on the next day you are here on time, right? So that we can avoid any time lags that can happen, right? Okay then, for today, let's finish off the session. So we will be meeting again on next Tuesday. So thank you very much for your participation, and have a nice day.